Last week, as we all celebrated the Independence Day, I was reflecting if there's anything called as freedom at work. So many constraints, isn't it, when it comes to the workplace, the work by itself, and the co-workers. Let's start with the workplace. If you are given an option to work fully remote, would that liberate you? Or let's say you're working hybrid, but nobody's going to ask when you come to office, when you're leaving. Would that free you up further? I once saw a note from HR in one of the organizations I worked saying, this is the dress code. Would you feel constrained if somebody is judging you by what you wear and whom you hang out with? Now let me move to the work we do. I'm sure, like mine, there are parts of work that you do which are boring and many parts which energizes you. When I ask people, which was your most favorite day at work last year, they say the awards night. Why? Oh, that's the day I dress up, I get award, I drink and dance. So much of liberation. But can we do an awards night every day? Then you look at the boring part. As far as I am concerned, the most boring part for me is the reviews I sit in. When I was being reviewed in the past or when I review others, it's the most painful thing for me. Is there anything that we can do in a day-to-day basis which is not boring or doesn't constrain us? I can't think of anything. Now let's come to the co-workers. Whom we work with makes such a big difference to work, doesn't it? We can choose our bosses sometimes. That means if you're changing a job, we follow our boss, we can choose them. If you are a manager, you have a huge opportunity to choose your co-workers, in fact, people who report to you. But the most difficult thing is you can't choose your peers. So what do? One thing that I worked through my life is that let me grow. Grow up the totem pole that you can choose everything. I thought becoming a CEO would give you the most liberated feeling and you can influence things. It did. It did to a great extent. Clearly, you have a much bigger space, of course, related to the past, how you grew up and where you didn't have space to what you get today. You have more influence on others, like I said. However, when you work for a large brand, or if you have grown up the ladder, you have a reputation to keep of yours and the brand that you work for. So what's the next best thing? Become an entrepreneur. So I did. But then, if you go on to become a successful entrepreneur, you grow your startup to a large enterprise. But the same problem comes back. How do I keep what I built? So the trap of what strategies can I not do now which I did earlier? Of course, as an entrepreneur, you can have your own strategy. You can choose your work. You can choose your workplace. You can choose your workers. However, what I need to keep to sustain what I've already built is the trap that you set into again. It also can curtail you. So one thing that I made peace with throughout my career and the entrepreneurship is, if I can express myself freely, I thought that's freedom at work for me, as long as it didn't harm me. So if you ask me, my definition of freedom at work is if I can extend my expression. Dare I ask you, what's your definition of freedom at work?